Name the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Hi everyone. This is Baha, and today is November 10th. We are gonna continue our lessons for the month of November. This is the first lesson, and it's about David and Jonathan. And it really breaks my heart that we couldn't see you guys this week. We had such a great time last couple of weeks, and we wanted to keep having a good time, but we're gonna all try to stay safe as we ride out the pandemic and what's going on around us. And it's time for us to pray that God gives the world peace, and we always can go back to normal life, so we can always have this good fellowship. So, like I said, today's lesson is gonna be about Jonathan and David. I've sent everyone on the group the picture that you see in front of you here right now, which is for Jesus, and the person next to him is called son of Amina. It's not the son of Amina Marimina, it's of Amina from their monastery is called Bawit. I believe it's in Beirut, Asyut. We'll talk a little bit about the picture and what it means, and I just wanted you guys to have it as we, just going through the lesson, and maybe contemplate on it, because it just kind of struck me as the best image that we can put on a paper, image of friendship between God and His people. So the first thing I wanted to kind of bring your attention to is that David is always, we've always hear or know from the Bible how David great was, and God was with him even with Goliath and stuff. So David is in a good position now that he gets something on his side. He get God in his side. He gets a lot of people in David's kingdom on his side. He even get Jonathan on his side. So he could have changed, but he did not change. So I wanted to ask you first, how do we choose our friends? How do we choose our friends? Do we choose them because they're funny, they smart, maybe they share the same values like we do? How do we choose our friends? And although a lot of this stuff is probably correct and accurate, we want our friends to be funny and smart, and they share the same kind of values like we have, love to Christ and all those great things. But let's just pretend that we just allowed to have one friend in our lifetime, or maybe prioritize who are we have a friend that he's like the ultimate friend. He's the one that we closest, and he's the one that we can go to ask him for advice first. He's the one that we can maybe share secrets with first. He's the one that we can trust his opinion, trust his guidance. What kind of person would that be? So the readings all today is going to be from the book of Samuel, the first Samuel, and it starts from chapter, let's say, 18 to 20, and it tells the relationship between Jonathan and David. So Jonathan, like I said, we know David and Goliath had this encounter, and David, just won, and we talked about this. Like, David won this encounter because God was with him. It wasn't because of his strength. It was just simply because he asked for God's grace to help him, so he can defeat Goliath. Not the armory, not the swords, none of the stuff. And Jonathan, who is a prince, he's a son of a king. He's watching all this go in front of his own eyes. Like, okay, what do I believe now? Do I believe David's God, or do I believe my father the king and his kingdom, that we have to arm ourselves and we have to build an army and we have to be strong, all this kind of stuff? But he did choose David, David's approach, which is the grace of God. So this was the first sign that David and Jonathan is just about to have a really good relationship. They share one thing in common. They believe in the ultimate power of God. They believe in the invisible power of God. And they also believe that friendship is not about class. It's not about you, where your class is, and where the person you doing your friendship with class is. We're talking about a servant, and we're talking about a prince. So this is kind of just a great start right there, that God, the way that God wants to lay down friendship for us is to basically maybe witness witness what happens, through God's grace in us. So the first thing is, yes, of course we gotta choose our friends very wisely, especially these days. And I wanna know, before we go into the wisely thing, I wanna make sure that this class thing is kind of clear. A lot of us, through school we have special talents. We get to become like maybe the top athlete of the school, maybe the top of the class, or this kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that put yourself in Jonathan's place. Jonathan chose David, because he saw the grace of God, going in front of his own eyes with everything he's doing, and he didn't think about this. Okay, this is just a servant. So that's number one. Uh, Number two is, okay, so where did David come to be, to come to, was anointed this position that he is going to be friending Jonathan. So we know from the story that God asked Samuel to anoint David. For he is good. So where does this goodness come from? We all agree now that this goodness comes in that David simply, was asking God for His grace to be with him, so he can win all the battles, whether it was Goliath, or whether was it from hiding from Saul and trying to just to flee from Saul and his all envy and all his hate to him and jealousy to him. So everything that David did, it was through the grace of God, and all the grace that God gave to David, Jonathan was able to witness it and say, okay, no, this is gonna work. This is work that works for me. This is the kind of friend I want. This is the kind of person I want to be. I want to be close to. What else would I want? David has God on his side. He's just about to be anointed as a king, and it's a win-win situation. So Jonathan and David's close friendship kept on growing. But Jonathan was a kind of friend that you can trust was everything. You can also trust him with your thoughts. You can trust him with your plans and stuff. That's what David did. He gave him his plans, how he's gonna hide on the field and all this kind of stuff. And Jonathan, could have betrayed him simply just because he's a prince. But his friendship with David meant a lot more than maybe his status, or maybe what he could have, maybe what he could have, what he could have done if he betrayed David. But that didn't happen because Jonathan was a good friend. He was a good friend with David. He put everything down just to maintain his friendship with David, because he knew that David is an image of God, and David will win because God is always with him. Um, if we go to Samuel, the first book of Samuel, chapter 20, and we see from verse 4. So this is the loyalship that started with between Jonathan and David. And Jonathan's talking to David and say, so Jonathan said to David, what does your soul desire? What shall I do for you? And David said to Jonathan, indeed, tomorrow in the new moon, I will not sit with the king to eat, and I will hide in the field until the evening. Just the first thing of a plan that two friends are sharing together. This is where I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna be on the table anymore. So your dad, which is King Saul, will notice something different that David is missing, and David just won the war with Goliath and stuff. So that's gonna be maybe a little flag for Saul, and it's gonna steer trouble. But Jonathan kept his promise to David that he's loyal to to their friendship together, and they will he will never betray him. So our friends are always something that we can maybe choose, but and sometimes they just come our way. So whether they come our way or whether we choose them, this is the kind of characters that we should maybe looking for. Is this trust? Is this faith? Is this maybe the sharing the same values? And that's why I wanted to send you guys this picture. We're just gonna pretend that this is you and a friend or something like that. So so for an example, if you look at this picture, this is Jesus right here. He's holding a Bible, and this is Ava Amina of the monastery, Bayut monastery. and he's not holding anything. He's just holding a little piece of paper in his hand. And you notice here that Jesus have his hand right here on the on Saint of Amina, and his eyes, they both their eyes wide open and stuff. So what you see here is two people walking together, two people just simply walking together, and I want you guys to think for a second, if you wanted to have this relationship with Christ as a friend, what do you expect from it? I think it's God is the one we can always trust. That you can trust God. That He's watching you. He's holding you. He's giving you good words and stuff. So the first thing here, maybe I want to point to that is the Bible here. See, so the Bible here. I'm sorry. So the Bible here is the Word of God, and this is Armenia next to him. They probably, if you stand with next to Jesus and his Bible in his hand, he's probably giving you commandments to obey. He's giving you something that you can guide your life, guide your life with. And it's important that we know that this is what God asks us to do and to obey. And I'm gonna get this back in a second. The second thing is the eyes. You see how Jesus' eyes are open? They're really open. They're looking forward, looking to, like, if it's like, I want to wash the way, so you, my friend, don't have to tremble. You, my friend, don't have to go on the wrong way. This is the kind of friend you want. You want this friend that his eyes are always on the road for you, because our eyes are not always, looking the right direction or correct. So this is the kind of friend you can trust, that someone who's looking after you, which way you're going and stuff like that. There's also this message here. You see in Saint Avamin's hand. I think if it maybe the artist, when he was portraying this, is like I have a lot of thoughts in my head. I have a lot of things I want to say in my heart. I want to tell someone about it. So this is where you go to, because your friend, when Jesus is, you can put all those trusts, all those secrets of your heart. Of course, he knows them, but he also wants you to come to him and open up your heart and say them, because he's trustworthy. And after that, the relationship gets strengthened and strengthened. And I'm gonna just leave it. This was the picture, but I want to go back to like I said, to the point about what Jesus wants from his friends. And if we open John 15, so in John 15, God was just getting all his disciples ready that he's gonna that he's gonna leave them, and he wants them to know that he's not gonna actually leave them, but he's also still gonna be with them. So in John 14, he's talking about friends. So he's saying you are my friends if you do not do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. So he all this God is asking us to be friend in him. It's just to do his commandments. It's something simple and something any friend will expect from their friend, even on a human level. You wanna be on the same page with the way you do things. You expect your friends to have the same ideas, same thoughts, don't betray you, this kind of stuff. So God is saying here, we're gonna be friends, but if you do whatever I command you. So you're not gonna be anymore my servant. And I want to go back to the servant thing, just like between David and Jonathan. David could have been stayed in the servant status forever, for a long time, and Jonathan could have been the prince or king also. We didn't know, but Jonathan and David friendship was built on the grace of God, and built on that they shared the same value, that they want to save the people from Saul's anger and Saul's evil thoughts and wars and stuff. So their status here between David and Jonathan, just remind me, this was the same conversation that Jesus was having with his disciples before he left them and stuff. And I wanna hope that we just every day we think about Jesus, that he's he is the only true friend that we can maybe close the door, sit with him, share our thoughts with him, talk to him, and at the same time, don't expect that because we we have a lot of people around us. We are having all good friends. We have, of course, we have people who maybe want to take friend us and drag us into the wrong way. But if we have this kind of friend with us, like we see in the picture here, someone who have his eyes on the road, someone who's have his hands all around us, someone who is giving us the word so we can always be educated and can always be filled with love and spirit, I think this is what always lead us in the right direction. So I'm gonna conclude here with my with our lesson, and I would love from you guys to see if you have a chance to read this the Samuel, the first book of Samuel, chapter 18 to 20. We're gonna see if we can put some quizzes maybe before next week, and if we hopefully make sure we get something out of it. I pray to God that He give us the will, that we become close friends to Him, and He help us to defeat sin, and we can always put our trust in Him, and always help us to open the message that He's given us, and keep our eyes all around us for all the devil and all the evil things that's going around us, and count on Him to defeat sin. I ask you to always pray for me and pray for the service, and we all get together to have the fellowshipping class. It's through the intercession of our amazing Mary, Archangel Michael, and all singers. Our Lord, hear us when we pray to you and say, thank you, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be the kingdom come, that will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive to trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but there's no evil in the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. In the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Okay, guys, see you soon. Bye.